Well, hello. This is a somewhat different message, as you undoubtedly can tell. Happy Mardi Gras to those who are watching today. My message today actually is about the bar exam, and even though I'm a little posterized here, I'll go back to normal in just a minute. But I wanted to make a point today because in New Orleans, at least as I understand the tradition of Mardi Gras, is another tradition called masking. And masking is an important part of the experience here in New Orleans because people take this day and they go out and they costume or they mask and they become sort of their alter egos or they have different personas. And it's a lot of fun, obviously. And I wanted to share with you a little bit of what my persona is and my swag here, as it were. I feel slightly, well, actually, I'm totally silly, but I'm having fun. And I wanted to share a little bit of that with you because I think it makes a point also about what happens with the bar exam and how bar takers often react. So that's kind of my thought. Now, back to a little bit more normal, if you will. I want to just talk about this idea of layers and masks that people put on as they start to study. Oftentimes, when someone begins the process of studying for the bar exam, they come pretty much the way you would see me. They've got a lot of armor, a lot of stuff, a lot of baggage, a lot of things that are really extraneous to the whole process. I got this great flashing light, which is much more effective at night, I have to tell you, but it's kind of a silly little pinky ring, and it's an adornment. But people bring these adornments when they start to study. They bring all kinds of things that really aren't very useful, but might be pretty pictures for them. Things like flashcards and mnemonics and all of that sort of thing. One of the things that I did is that I went to a number of parades, and I'm looking down because I'm trying to figure out which one is which now, because of course they all get caught up in another. This one is from a parade called Bacchus, which is, it's the god of wine. Bacchus really was about, go out and have a good time. And obviously when people start studying for the bar, they think to themselves, well, there goes the good time. I'm done with all the good time. It's over. It doesn't have to be that way. You can study and do other things. You don't have to go into a monastery or move away for years and years and years. This one is called Muses. It's an all-female crew, they're called, or group, and a beautiful nighttime parade. And the Muses are women who give out these wonderful things, but they also have their siren song, as you might imagine. And I think sometimes people get caught up in the siren song of the Muses in their life. They listen to people who don't know very much about what's going on, who might not really want them to be successful for whatever reason, and they take bad advice, and so they're carrying around that weight, and that's not a good thing. This particular one is from a parade here close to our home. It's called Endymion. And this is really just sort of a, it's to say, well, I went and I stood out there, and this year Endymion was very wet and soggy, and so this is a mark of pride. But sometimes I find people carrying around kind of history of all the bar exams that they've taken, maybe all the bar exams that they've failed, and they wear it like a chain around their neck, and they're not very successful, but they won't take it off. Now, this last one is really my favorite. That's why it's at the bottom. It's my fleur-de-lis. And I think it represents a lot of things, obviously, here in New Orleans. But it also represents some pride. And I think that sometimes people come to this process and they forget about the things that they should be proud of. They went to undergraduate school. They graduated. They went to law school. They graduated. They're in a position to take a bar exam. It's so easy today with all the discussion of bad job markets and law school debt, and those are real things. But I think it's easy to forget that people who are in a position to take a bar exam are still better off than most of the people, certainly in the world, and many people here in the United States. And so they don't keep the pride that they ought to have in what they've accomplished and what still remains to be done. Is there lots to be done in New Orleans? Oh, yeah. But is the pride here? Undoubtedly, undoubtedly. So people have all of these different things going on. Now, you also see that I'm wearing my Saints jacket, and if there ever was a team that would break your heart and but also make you very proud, it's the Saints. And I'm a fan, to say the least, and you see the football posters behind me. But I love football, and I love what it means to be a fan. But I recognize that in order for athletes to be successful, they have to practice, they have to work, they can't just show up on game day. And I think sometimes what happens to bar takers is that they think that it's enough to just show up on test day. that they don't have to do the work and the preparation, the hard work that goes into being a champion. They don't have the sort of the soul of a champion or the heart of a champion. And I think that that's a serious concern. So I think it's important as you're studying that you remember that doing a little bit every day, practicing, working out, eating right, sleeping right, taking care of yourself, praying, spending time with your family, all of those things are particularly important in this process of getting ready for the bar exam. Now, of course, to me, the hat is one of the great pieces of all of this because it's so totally not me. But I love the hat. And the hat is very New Orleans as well. But I like the hat because it keeps my head covered. It keeps me dry. It protects me. It generally hides my unruly hair. And I think sometimes bar takers don't wear enough protective clothing, as it were. Okay, they don't protect their heads. They kind of walk into these disasters and they're not protected and they're not thinking about it. They just kind of march in, and then when the bar exam hits them, they don't have any protection. They haven't thought ahead. They haven't planned for what's coming. It's rainy in New Orleans today. It's a good day to wear a hat. The bar exam is going to be tough. You need to have endurance and strength. You need to be well rested. I'm surprised at how many bar takers show up completely unprepared for the experience that they're about to have. So I think it's important to have a hat, metaphorically or physically, so that you know what's going on. Finally, you've got your mask, and you know, the mask is a metaphor for so many things. I particularly like this mask because if you look carefully, you'll see it's a Batman mask. And while I'm not claiming any characteristics or qualities synonymous with Batman, I do think that sometimes when I'm talking about how to prepare for the bar, I am an outlier. That is to say that the normal wisdom about the bar is study like a maniac, cram for 6 weeks, memorize as much as you can, throw as much crud on the paper as you can, take a wild leaping guess at most everything, go nuts, make your friends crazy, bring everybody else through as much hell as you can, and at the end, you know, about half of you will pass. You know, I'd like to think that I'm sort of a crusader for a different approach to this, an approach that says you can work smart. You can work over a longer period of time. You can work in smaller increments. You can have a life. You don't need to give up everything to be successful on the bar exam. Now, that's not popular in a lot of places, and I have detractors who think, well, that's just crazy. That doesn't work. But, you know, kind of like Batman, for a long time now, I've been doing this pretty successfully, and I rather enjoy the anonymity of what I do, in that the people that take this course love it. There are a handful that don't like it, but by far the majority love it and have loved it because the results are so good. And they're a little surprised that there's this secret out there that most people don't know about. But, you know, I think that's kind of Batman-like. I come to the rescue when someone's in real trouble, when the bat signal gets sent out from somebody who's failed or struggling or having difficulty. And it's one of the things I really love about what I do is that I get to help people who need to get ready for this test, who've struggled and had difficulties. Am I Batman? No, but, you know, I'd like to be Barman. I think that would be cool. In any event, that's part of the fun for me, and it's part of what I enjoy doing. Now, obviously, the bar exam's serious stuff, and Mardi Gras is fun, and there's a lot of playfulness that goes with it. And if you're watching this today, you're within about a week of the bar exam. And regardless of what the timing is, I know that it's a time of stress, but I do want to encourage you to take some time off, whether you're celebrating Mardi Gras, or you're celebrating the Lenten season, or you're just celebrating springtime. Spend some time with your family and your friends. Do something nice for other people this week. Get outside yourself for at least a little bit of time and a little bit of energy, because the whole world's not interested in the bar exam, and that's okay. You'll find that when you come back to your studies, you'll be better focused, you'll be happier, you'll be able to do a better job. And I think when you do that, you're going to see that this is a process that you can manage. You don't need all the masks. You don't need all the crazy stuff to be successful in the bar exam. You just need a straightforward approach that's reasonable and intelligent, one that hopefully you've been working for a while and you've learned how to master, and that you have confidence in. And if you do that, you're successful enough by virtue of the fact that you're taking the bar exam that you should be able to pass. And that's really our expectation. So I wish you the best as you get ready with a week or so to go to the bar. I wish you a happy Mardi Gras wherever you might be. And I hope that if you get the chance to mask, that your masks are useful and fun, and that they represent some of what you aspire to and some of what you really are inside. Have a great day of study, and we'll be back to you again soon. Thanks.